Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time of seeing my beautiful face, welcome. My name is Ayodele-Makun and I'm a Nigerian YouTuber currently based in Canada, undergoing my master's degree at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan. And if this is not your first time of seeing my beautiful face, welcome. I love you. Thank you for tuning in back to watch my videos. And thank you so much guys for the love. I've been away for a very long time, but then I'm back now and I'm here to give you guys every bit of information you need concerning postgraduate studies, concerning applying to schools, concerning immigration process in Canada, and also anything about my lifestyle, my experience, and how life is right now in Canada. So let's get right into this video. As you can see from the title below, don't mind me, I'm just looking down because my laptop is here and I'm going to be using it for all the information I'm going to be sharing with you today. So if you see me looking down, please, just for today. So yeah, I'm going to be sharing my story of how I applied for my study permit from inside Canada, which took 9 days, and how I was refused, and what I did to like change my application process when I applied for my study permit from inside Canada. So I don't want you to think that this video is only for people that come into Canada to come and apply for their study permits. No, it's also for people that want to apply for their study permit from anywhere in the world. The information I'm going to be sharing, especially on my SOP and the documents submitted, would be very helpful to you. So let's get right into this video. So first of all, let me say that I'm going to be giving you guys a little backstory. So I got my admission sometimes in March, and I knew that I was supposed to start like my whole application process with the visa. And I started my visa application and submitted my application to IRCC on the 1st of July, and I was to resume school September 1st. I'm giving you guys this backstory so you can understand like my story, why I applied again or reapplied again after like my refusal the first time. And then I got a refusal letter on August 2nd, and I'm going to be sharing like the refusal notes, which is called the GCMS note. I'm going to be sharing that also, and things I did to strengthen my reapplication process. And then I reapplied on the 24th of August when I got into Canada, and I got an approval September 6th under 9 days. So let's get right into this video, guys. So first of all, I'm going to be talking about my SOP. So I won't be reading my first SOP that got me a refusal in Nigeria. I'm not going to be reading that because it's so long. My SOP was long, guys. I had almost like 72 plus pages for my SOP for the first one, and I tried as much as possible to reduce it in my second application. So I'm going to be reading it's called letter of explanation because I was refused the first time, but if you are applying the first time, it's called statement of purpose. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, please, guys. I'm just sharing like my own experience. Um, if anybody wants to say any other thing, otherwise, you're welcome to say that. This is a free space, right? But then I'm just saying this because this is for my own lens. So any other person that has any other opinion or entitlement, yeah, good to go. So let's get right into this. So I'm going to be reading my SOP, but before I go into my SOP, I just want to itemize like things I changed in my SOP that helped me or assisted me with my reapplication. And I want to say a very huge thank you to Evelyn AO. She has a YouTube channel also, so you guys check it out. It was like YouTube videos that really assisted me with this process. And I also want to say a very big thank you also to Adeshewa. She was the one that helped me with this process because, guys, I faced a lot when I wanted to reapply for my study permit because a lot of people were saying, oh, you can't reapply for a study permit from inside Canada. But no, that's not true. But then the reason why I'm doing this video timely right now is because it's going to assist whoever wants to also come into Canada and reapply or apply for their study permit from inside Canada. And the reason why I'm also doing this video is because when I watched Evelyn's video, she mentioned about maybe change their policy or like the Canadian government, maybe now I should say, changing or reviewing this application from inside Canada, coming in as a visitor, then reapplying for your study permit from inside Canada. And that will be reviewed around February 2025. So if you have anyone or know anyone that has a visitor's visa right now and wants to come into Canada right now is the time. Now is the time. Okay, guys, so I'm going to be talking about what I changed in my application. So I'm just going to be looking at my phone down here. So number one is that I put some funds in my TD account. So TD account is a Canadian account. So when you come into Canada as a visitor and want to apply for a study permit, you have to open a Canadian check-ins account. So a checking account helps you to be able to, perform daily transactions and everything like that. So you open that account and then add it to your application. So that was what I did differently. When, in my first application in Nigeria, I didn't have a Canadian account. I used my Nigerian account. So number two, so that was one thing I changed. Number two was that I requested for a support letter from my supervisor. Our school already started and everything like that. So this letter was to highlight the urgency of my application to be considered faster so I can resume by September. So guys, like I said, right, I got my approval September 6th, so school had already started, and I submitted my application August 24th. So I requested from my supervisor for a support letter. So that was one thing I also felt like was a plus to my application, which I didn't do previously. So number three was that I got an appointment letter to stating that I have a job waiting for me back home in Nigeria once I'm done with my master's. So I didn't add that also previously in my application. So that was what I did differently. And number four was that my parents wrote a support letter also for me to support the statement of them giving me a certain amount for my application when I reapplied. So my first application, my dad wrote a support letter, but obviously, like I said, the visa officer didn't really go through that. So when I reapplied again, I got a support letter from both my parents stating that yes, I will come back home to Nigeria after my masters and I have a job waiting for me. And so they were the ones that funded me with some amount of money. So that was what I did differently. And then number five, I just tweaked my letter of explanation. And like I said, right, letter of explanation is after a refusal. So I tweaked it a little bit with a little bit of guideline from Evelyn's application. So I didn't really change too much information. I just did a little bit introduction to explain why I was refused initially and what I've done differently to make my application stand out from my previous application. So now, guys, after all this, I don't know. I think I'm going to highlight all these points that I just mentioned now at a particular part of this video. So now let's get into my SOP. I'm also going to be sharing like a screenshot of my SOP on the profile below. And guys, I need to say that do not copy like my SOP verbatim. Please do not do that. You can reward it as you want and then change some details. We don't have the same story. We don't have the same story in any way, but then this is just to serve as a guideline. So let's get right into it. Note that if you're applying from inside Canada, you need to also still put the address as if you are in Nigeria. There is a lot of explanation behind this, but like I said, the only thing we'll be treating today is just my SOP and the list of documents I submitted. So before I jump right into the SOP, I put the address of the IRCC in Lagos, so which is the Department High Commissioner of Canada for number 4, Anifowoshi Street, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. And I went into it. I said, "Dear respected Sir Omar, letter of explanation and study plan," and I put my name in front of it. So I said, "I'm writing to express my sincere interest and purpose for seeking a Canadian visa to pursue a 2 years Masters of Science in Interdisciplinary Graduate Studies in Sustainability program at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan campus, UBCO, Canada." And I put the C attached for admission letter. So anywhere you put C attached, it gives them the opportunity to be able to refer as evidence that okay, well, this person truly got this admission, or this person really got this document. So, and I mentioned that under the supervision of, I mentioned my supervisor's name, and I said I'm truly passionate about growing both academically and professionally, and I see this program as a key opportunity to help me achieve my goal. My previous application was refused on the perceived grounds of insufficiency of assets and my financial situation. I have gone ahead to give a detailed breakdown of my financial qualification and sources in this letter and a cover financial letter in my proof of funds document, see attached. So I had a separate document for my client's information, which is also like my letter of explanation, and I had a separate document for my I called it proof of funds, yeah, proof of funds document. So that was why I said that they can refer to either that or my proof of funds, because I did a breakdown of the table in my letter of explanation. So let's continue. I said, however, I would love to reiterate why I'm keen on harnessing this life-changing opportunity, as well as expose my my potential contribution to the department and the school. So now let's get into the introduction. I said my name is Days. I graduated from Federal University of Technology, Akure, with a Bachelor's of Technology in Meteorology and Climate Science from January 2017 to August 2023. So yeah, you just put to the school where you graduated from, and then how many years it took you to complete your school, right? Aside from my undergraduate studies, I've been passionate about understanding how climate change affects our environment, human mobility, and socio-economic systems. I believe that a combination of finance mechanisms, infrastructure, nature-based solutions, education, net zero policies, and public-private partnerships can address this impact. I have gained hands-on experience in both theoretical and practical skills related to climate science. I have collected data on weather parameters, communicated complex environmental information to stakeholders and the public, and helped improve decision making and preparedness. Then I went on to say I worked as an academic assistant and have had the opportunity to volunteer at Eco Vanguard Club, see attached for letter of introduction, which plays a big role in the community at large towards promoting environmental awareness and advocating for sustainable practices at Leeds City University, Ibadan. My parents, I mentioned my dad's name and my mom's name, have been my sole sponsor in my entire life up to now. My mom has sponsored me in several ways, including applying for my Canadian visitor's visa, which I applied for in July 2023 and got approved in August 2023. My dad also sponsored me during the period of my application and interview, which I got approved for in May 2023 to come to the United States for a fully funded conference at Washington, D.C. in June 2023. My parents permanently live and work. You mentioned the state where your parents are currently residing, and then I said my mom's occupation. I said my mom is this and my dad is this, right, or runs this. Growing up, I've had the privilege of sharing my childhood with my two younger sisters, and I mentioned their name and what they are currently doing. So my two sisters are currently students and are permanently residing in Nigeria. So let me quickly do like a breakdown. If you see the first paragraph, I just introduced myself, where I schooled, what I've achieved so far, and what is driving me, why I'm passionate, things I've done that are related to things I'm passionate about, which was mentioned in the second paragraph. The third paragraph I just talked, which was also the last paragraph, I just talked about volunteer experiences I've had, if you have had one or not, and then introduced my family. So this is very important, especially the study plan. So I said I hold a Bachelor of Technology degree in Meteorology and Climate Science from the Federal University of Technology in Nigeria, where I graduated in the top 2% of my class with a CGPA, mentioned in CGPA. My academic journey has been driven by a strong desire to address the environmental challenges that Nigeria, with its rapidly growing population and economy, faces. This motivation led me to pursue relevant coursework and gain practical experience during my undergraduate studies. In 2021, I worked as Research and Operations Intern at the Nigerian Meteorological Agency (NIMET) at Ibadan Airport, where I was involved in preparing extreme weather advisories, assisting in climate research, and participating in climate education outreach programs. These experiences deepened my understanding of the impact of climate change and reinforced my commitment to sustainability. In 2023, before the completion of my bachelor's degree, I presented a seminar research on how emerging technologies and innovations could enhance resilience and address loss and damage in Africa. My thesis focused on the impact of future climate change on urban thermal comfort in Nigerian urban centers using high-resolution climate models and policy synthesis approach. Both my seminar research and thesis are currently being prepared for publication. Then I went on to say, I am really looking forward to the chance to join the team. Let me quickly break down the bachelor and the background and study plan. So in the first paragraph, I just talked about what I had a bachelor's in, and if you have like a bachelor's or a master's, you can join them together and talk about that. And then the CGPA I had, and why I wanted to like pursue another degree, right? Then the second paragraph, I just talked a little bit on the internship I did, just to show like work experience a little bit also, and then give like a brief summary of what I did during my internship. And then 2023 of concluding my bachelor's degree, I just talked about like research I've worked on, things I've done, and how it has helped, or like what the focus of all my research was on. That was what I talked about. And in the last paragraph, I just talked about what my study plan was after I leave UBCO, right? What I wanted to do, how I wanted to give back to Nigeria. So I'm just doing this so it can give you guys like a clearer idea of what to do also when you want to write your SOP. I titled this Why This Program. Then I mentioned Interdisciplinary Graduate Studies and Sustainability Program. So I went on by saying more than half of the world is currently not on track to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. I was filled with a lot of hope when I learned about SDGs in 2016. In particular, I was drawn to how they were deeply interconnected to secure a healthier planet and a world with shared prosperity and reduced inequalities. It was that year I decided to pursue an interdisciplinary research career in climate change and sustainability. Since then, I have been committed to contributing to the knowledge, policies, technology, partnerships, values, and resources needed to renew our collective hope and achieve accelerated progress on climate action, governance, and sustainable development. This is why I was keen to pursue an MSc interdisciplinary degree in sustainability at the University of British Columbia Okanagan UBCO campus. UBC has a lot of sustainability programs and initiatives that are extended to grad students. My commitment and interest in sustainability deepened as I progressed through my undergraduate degree in meteorology and climate science at the Federal University of Technology, Akure, Nigeria. I learned that climate change is not just an environmental issue. It also takes pressing socioeconomic, ethical, political, and humanitarian issues and makes them worse in a complex manner. The sustainability and interdisciplinary lens, therefore, is increasingly required to access and address these challenges. A little bit of background why I'm pursuing this degree in sustainability program and what I envision that this program can add to the knowledge I already have, everything surrounding what I'm still passionate about. So just write something. Talk about your passion, talk about how the program you want to look into wants to assist or help you, to continue your journey. Now we're going to be talking about why the University of British Columbia. So this is I'm just stating like the subtitle and then you can work on like the body of the subtitle. So UBCO, this is where also before I go into it, this is where you also need to do like your personal research about the school that you're going to. And I liked as much as possible. I liked the good parts of the school, the good things you've seen online, and what you think you can achieve from the good things that the school is trying to offer. So UBCO stands out to me because it promises a collaborative environment, top-notch courses, high-quality interdisciplinary research training in sustainability, access to professional development opportunities, a diverse network of on-campus experts, students, external partners, and a small student-to-faculty ratio. So UBC has two campuses. There's one at Vancouver, there's one at Okanagan. Okanagan is a very small campus compared to the one at Vancouver, right? And that was why I mentioned a very small student to faculty ratio. UBC is globally respected for its comprehensive research and knowledge, and it's ranked 13th out of over 1,400 institutions in the 2022 Times Higher Education Impact Ranking for institutional effort to advance the SDGs. The university also ranked 7th in the world for taking urgent action to combat climate change and its impact. I am inspired by this leadership and the ongoing commitment to advance sustainability. UBC is also ranked amongst the 40 best universities in the world and second best in Canada, according to Times Higher Education World University Rankings. I'm excited to work with the department faculty members and especially I mentioned the name of my supervisor, who has agreed to willingly be my MSc supervisor. I am passionate about exploring sustainability in Earth system governance issues with a focus on climate change impact, nature climate policy, conservation and land management, disaster risk reduction, and sustainable development. This focus aligns perfectly with the Sustainable Futures Research Program of DASH, who is my supervisor. So I just saw my own interest and how it aligns with my supervisor's interest. So you can highlight all your interest also in this particular part and then talk about it. So now moving on, we're talking about why Canada. If you guys have any question whatsoever, please ask in the comment section. Do not forget to like this video. It is very, very important so it can reach a wider audience. And you don't know who might need this video also. So it's very important that you share this video on your platforms. You don't know who you might be helping. I wish I had this opportunity and I'm grateful to Adeshewa, who was the one that linked me up with Evelyn's video, which is a very funny story because I've watched Evelyn's video even prior to the time that she finally released the video on how to apply for your study permit from inside Canada. So assuming I saw that video, I would not have stressed myself like applying for a study permit in Nigeria and then getting refused. Then why did you choose Canada? So I said my decision to come to Canada was first influenced by my first ever visit last year when I came to British Columbia from the United States and had the chance to explore this beautiful country. So like you guys know, or I previously mentioned in this video that I've been to Canada before, so it's not my first time in Canada, and that's why I am referring to that. I'm coming to Canada again because I have previously visited Canada, which I loved, and this is what is bringing me back. So I chose not to study this course in Nigeria due to the unpredictability of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, which is ASU in Nigeria, which frequently goes on strike, causing schools to be shut down for months and then except theaters. So I put like an ASU strike news picture. I've experienced this firsthand, spending 7 years on a 5 years program. Completing this program in a timely manner is my priority. Additionally, access to diverse and advanced opportunities in Nigerian universities is limited due to the lack of necessary technological and practical facilities for conducting core research. This hinders our ability to offer timely solutions to challenging problems and make a positive impact on the world. Therefore, Canada stands out to me as the best destination due to its affordable academic opportunities, dedication, high quality education, cutting edge research, multicultural environment, less expensive tuition, and cost of living compared to other Western countries. Canada is also the most welcoming country for international students like myself. I hinted a little bit about my previous visit to Canada and also from the United States, right? So it gives the visa officer an idea of other places I've been to prior to coming to Canada. Then I continued to talk about like some of the reasons why I'm picking Canada over studying a master's degree in Nigeria, and I just talked about the timeline for me. For me, I didn't want to stay back in Nigeria, start another MSc, and then maybe it takes up to 2 to 4 years to complete it because of strike. So I highlighted that as a priority for me. So you can give any other reason that you feel you want to mention. Then another thing I feel you can also mention diversity concerning my bachelor's degree, right? What I had my bachelor's degree in. There was not a lot of specialization back home in Nigeria, so and then Canada offered that. So you can use that also as a point for your application. I went on to highlight very good things about Canada and its education. So now this is a very important part we are moving on to, which is funds available for my studies. At any point, do not leave this video because it's very important. Watch to the end. So in another video, I'm going to be talking about um, how I was able to get a fully funded scholarship to come and study in Canada, how you can also go about that process, documents you need, what you need, how to search for schools that are offering fully funded scholarships, and how you can go about that process. If that is the path you want to follow, by also like watching my other YouTube videos I'll be bringing out later on in the future. And if you have any questions also, I will be answering that and cover every aspect. So I'm going to make sure that all my videos give you the best information on that. During the entirety of the scholarship grants, funding, and support from my parents, I have a total of this. I mentioned the total of all the Canadian funds I had coming from my school, funding from my supervisor, and also my parents. Available for the 2 years. I mentioned that also because no all masters are 2 years. The sum will completely cover my living expenses and tuition fee for the entire duration of my studies. Below is a breakdown of the funds. Now, I made this into 3 paragraphs. Number one, talking about the funding I got from the school. Number two, talking about the funding I got from my supervisor. And number three, talking about the funding I got from my parents. So I said I received a scholarship grant of this. See admission letter. See attached for admission letter because it was mentioned in my admission letter for the duration of my studies at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan. Now, I went on to mention that if there's a breakdown of what your scholarship covers from your admission letter, you can write that out. And I did that for myself. I said this scholarship includes funding from a combination of scholarship as outlined in the admission letter from Interdisciplinary Graduate Studies Sustainability at the University of British Columbia, Okanagan. The University of British Columbia does not require any initial tuition deposit, and this is very important for you to highlight because some schools require you to pay tuition deposit, and then you also need to state that if you're applying for your application that you have paid the tuition deposit already. So I just wanted the visa officer to have an idea so it does not conclude in his mind, oh, why didn't I pay tuition deposit? So I mentioned that my school doesn't require that. Additionally, now on to the next paragraph, I've been awarded this. Then I put C attached for funding support letter from my supervisor throughout my period of study for the graduate research assistantship project I'll be working on, which is spearheaded by my supervisor. Then I listed all the projects we are going to be working on. Additionally, my parents, I mentioned my dad's name and my mom's name, supported my studies by transferring a sum of this, see attached, readily available to my TD checking bank account with account number this. And this monetary contribution will cover my miscellaneous expenses until I start receiving scholarship funds from the investor. Now, the reason why it's not immediately you get to Canada, they start paying you all your scholarship funds or all the funds you are entitled to because there can be a delay. It might not go straight or easy sometimes. So Canada expects that you have something to fall back on pending that period. And if you don't show that you have extra funds, it's a red flag to them because they'll be like, how would you survive in their country maybe for a month before your scholarship and maybe your funds starts coming in. So it's very important that even if you have scholarship, no matter the amount of scholarship, if you have 100,000 Canadian dollars, still provide some amount of money to be able to show to the Canadian government that okay, you have been able to meet up with whatsoever plans that the school or the funding committee might have, even if they don't quickly release your funds. Furthermore, in accordance with the latest directive from IRCC, the estimated living expense for studying in Canada amounts to 20,635 CAD per year. In addition to the requirement of my proof of funds to cover the first year tuition, the cost of tuition for my period of study is this. So here, I just highlighted what the latest IRCC directive is. I think previously it was about 10,000 CAD, now it's about 20,000 CAD. And I just also mentioned like what my tuition fee is, do like a table showing like the breakdown of my financial information. So the first part I said total first year expense required. Then I put my tuition fee for the first year in amounts. Then I put my living expenses for the first year in the second part, and then I put my miscellaneous for 1 year in the last part. So the 20,635 required by Canada is different from your tuition fee. So what you do is if you are going for the 2 years program like myself, you multiply 20,000 times 2, have it in one part. Then your tuition fee, multiply times 2, have it in another part. Add the two of them together. That will give you like a rough idea of the estimate of what your financial situation should be when you want to apply. Now, apart from that, you will now have like extra funds to be able to balance yourself when you come in. So that's all you now join it together, and that's how you calculate, like whatever your finances will be if you want to come to Canada. Now, I did a total of that. Then I went on to the second table. Funds available for my first year provided. Then I mentioned the scholarship, I put the amount. I mentioned the funding for my supervisor, I put the amount. Then I mentioned my personal funds, I put the amount and did a total of that. Now I mentioned my second year. I put the scholarship I'll be receiving for my second year, put the amount. Scholarship I'll be receiving from funding I'll be receiving from my supervisor, I put the amount and I did the total. So if you I see the difference, the difference is I did not put a personal funds in the second year because by then funds from the school will be coming in perfectly well. No compliance with visa regulations. I want to emphasize that during my previous and current visits to the United States and Canada as a visitor, I have consistently followed all visa regulations. I have not breached the term and condition of my visitor status and have complied with the immigration laws of Canada and the United States of America. Additionally, I recently renewed my passport because my previous one had less than 6 months of validity remaining. Since obtaining a new passport can be a time-consuming process, I chose to renew it in advance to prevent any potential delays. So guys, if you've had like a previous visit to any country outside of Nigeria or outside of wherever you're based, right? You need to highlight that because it's going to show you are required in a part of your submission of documents to IRCC to highlight or talk about like the stamps that you have on your passport or the visas that you've had or you have. So it's best you state that okay, even in all these countries also that you've stayed, you never overstayed your time, so they know that you are a law-abiding citizen. So and that was what I did, and also because I talked about like my passport, I renewed my passport because the other previous one I had was less than 6 months, and Canada does not give more than you know the expiry date of your your passport. If you have less than 6 months, they will not stamp a visa on that passport, so you will need to provide a new passport. So I just wanted to highlight that because they will see my previous passports in the document requirements that they wanted me to submit, right? Family ties does not just attach to your family alone, but it also attached to like things that you would do probably after your masters when you return back to Nigeria. So I said I've been given an appointment to join the team of instructors at this. Then I said see attached for letter of appointment. Upon my return to Nigeria after completing my masters, this prestigious opportunity will allow me to apply the advanced knowledge and skills I gained during my studies in Canada, contributing directly to the academic and environmental progress of my home country. This appointment is a significant professional milestone that firmly anchors my commitment to returning to Nigeria. Now, the second paragraph, I said, moreover, I have a deep and enduring ties to my family in Nigeria, including my father, mother, aunties, sisters, uncles, and mentors, who have been pillars of support and motivation throughout my academic and professional journey. Then I went on to say, as the first child of my dad and my mom, I hold a special place in my family. Then I said, see attached for family picture. My parents have invested significantly in my education, believing in my potential and doing everything possible to ensure I receive the best education. I'm forever grateful for their unwavering support, and returning to Nigeria to give back to them and my siblings is a priority for me. Now I went on to say, My father is a dedicated and hardworking man, having successfully managed this business in Nigeria for many years. Upon my return, I am eager to assist in overseeing his business, not only as a way to give back, but also to ensure its continued success as a tribute to his efforts. Then I went on to talk about like the work my mom does and um, how I also want to support. So I said being there to support and care for her during this new chapter of her life is deeply important to me. My commitment to my family and their well-being is a core reason for my desire to return back to Nigeria after completing my studies. So yeah, just talk about your family, what they do, and how you want to help them after you're done with your whatever program you're pursuing right now. So growing up with my two younger siblings mentioned their name, who also reside permanently in Nigeria. So wherever, it doesn't matter wherever your siblings, your family are based, just mention that. I have always felt a strong connection to my family and my country. Nigeria is where I've spent most of my life, and it holds a special place in my heart. These strong familiar and um, professional ties reinforce my determination to return home after my studies in Canada and continue contributing to my country and family. Now, this is long, but we're almost done. So we have like three more subtitles to go. So the next one is return to home country. Once I acquire knowledge, a professional network, and interdisciplinary skills in sustainability, I intend to return to my country to implement these skills and contribute to Nigeria's sustainability. I also aspire to accept the position I was given at that particular place where I said I was going to work after my master's. Upon the completion of my studies in Canada, I am excited about the prospect of contributing to the growth and development of my home country, and I look forward to the opportunities that lie ahead. Now, we now come to my travel history. Remember that in other places I did not really talk about it, I just entered it to the visa office. I received a grant from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, to present my thesis research at the American Geophysical Union, AGU's first Chapman Conference on Climate and Health in Africa, held between June 12th to 15th, 2023 in Washington, D.C., USA. The only undergraduate there. I also shared my perspective on loss and damage during the youth blast of the 2023 high-level political forum on sustainability development, which took place at the United Nations headquarters in New York from July 10th to 19th, 2023. During my time in the USA, I visited my parents' family and friends and attended a friend's wedding. I stayed in the USA until this time and I returned back to Nigeria. Then I went on to explain the timeline I was also in Canada when I came to Canada. So then I mentioned where I stayed specifically in Canada and the number of days I stayed in Canada when I returned back to the US. So I stayed in Canada, British Columbia for 12 days from September 20th, 2023 and returned to the United States on October 4th, 2023 to prepare for my return to Nigeria. Now, I went on to reiterate it, right, that during my stay in the United States of America and Canada, I abided by the immigration rules and regulations and I never overstayed. After returning to Nigeria, I completed my clearance registration and my convocation ceremony was held on November 17th, 2023. I am currently in Kelowna, BC. So the reason why I did that was because the visa officer understands that I am now inside Canada since my application was coming in from inside Canada and reapplying for my study permit from inside Canada. So that's what you should also do. If you are inside Canada currently, you put where you are currently located so the visa officer knows and you have it just shows that you're being transparent. But then if you're not in Canada, you don't need this information in your SOP. Now to the conclusion. I said I fully understand the responsibilities and expectations that come with holding a study visa in Canada and I'm committed to adhering to all visa regulations while maintaining a high academic standard throughout my program. When I am granted this visa, I will dedicate myself to gaining valuable experience through the Masters of Science in Interdisciplinary Graduate Studies and Sustainability program. I am determined to use this knowledge to make a meaningful impact on the environment and in my community I find myself in. I respectfully request that my visa application be approved. Full stop. Yours faithfully. And you put your name. Guys, that is everything you need to know about my SOP. And that's almost everything I submitted that got me my visa under 9 days from Canada. Now, we're going to be moving on to the list of documents I submitted because I would not have time to really show you guys every of the documents I submitted. No. So let's go. So I'm going to be putting it here on the page. So I have contents, then I put letter of explanation, then letter of explanation and study plan, my name. So I talked about my introduction, background of study plan, why this program, and I put the program in funds. Why the University of British Columbia? So let's say your school is Thompson Rivers University. You say why Thompson Rivers University? Why Canada? And funds available for my studies. And below is a breakdown of my financial information, compliance with visa regulation, family ties, return to home country, travel history, and conclusion. About my curriculum vitae, which is also your CV, appointment letter showing where I'm going to be working after my master's, a support letter from my supervisor, a letter of introduction from where I worked while I was at Leeds City undergoing my NYC. Um, and if you guys want to talk about my NYC, I just mentioned that I was working at Leeds City. So it depends on you. If you want to mention that, fine. If you don't want to mention that, it's okay. I talked about it in my first application, but then I didn't mention it here. So it all depends on you. I see you've previously had your NYC and you have your NYC certificate. Yes, please mention it. My WAEC results, then my national identity documents was just my NIN certification. I also added that. So all the certificate I've had in this life, guys, I put it there. So my certification included conferences I've attended, certificate I've gotten from like online classes related to NFTs, introduction to blockchain, put it there. Anything, even if it doesn't match like your background, put it there. It helps you. So they know that you're like an all-round student. I put UI UX there. I took like an entrepreneurship course also one time. Everything that you need or that you have, every certificate, be it digital certificate, be it physical certificate, just scan it and then put it there. So I put all my certificate there. And of course, your birth certificate is very, very important. My bachelor's degree certificate, my undergraduate transcript, my letter of acceptance for my primary assignment at Leeds City. So they know that I was admitted to work at Leeds City, but I didn't mention anything about NYC, but obviously they might have seen it there. Then I also put like a police character certificate. So now there has been like a very should I say controversial topic about like this police certificate. Some say you don't need it, some say you need it, right? But I did it anyways. And it was also going to expire because your police certificate is just for 3 months. So it was going to expire I think by August ending when I submitted this application. So I was saying my money speak for me, please. So yes, you should add that also. But then it's based on your choice if you want. If you don't want, it's okay. The national passport of every member of my family there. I'm not sure I added it in my first application. I don't think so. So that was something I changed. Then pictures of my family, graduation pictures of my family, just so they know that the number of people I've mentioned in my application previously. Then pictures of some of my uncle's mentors, which I also mentioned previously, and pictures of the conferences I've been to, pictures with my family members while I was in the United States and my friends while I was in the United States. And lastly, I also added a picture of ASO strike. So guys, this is the SOP I submitted. Oh yes, guys, I promised to read my letter of refusal, why I was refused initially to you. But then I also want to say a very big thank you to Temidayo, to Shegun. These two people were very, very amazing people. They were the ones that also assisted me with my visa processing, guided me. I was sending my application back and forth to them. I also appreciate my friends, very good friends. Michael, they were so just there for me, like while I was in this whole application process, sending my application to them so they can read it. And I'm also grateful to my professors both home and also my supervisor here in Canada and my professors back home in Nigeria that helped me with my reference letter. And in my next video, I'm going to be talking about like SOPs, how to write your SOP for applying to prestigious schools and all those details like that that you will need. So let me talk about my refusal letter. Some people might have like issues with finance, and that was why I really went in with my SOP and explained what I changed. I'm not satisfied that you will leave Canada at the end of your study as required by paragraph blah blah blah. And I'm refusing your application because you have not established that you will leave Canada based on the following factors. So, number one, your assets and financial situation are insufficient to support the stated purpose of travel for yourself, and they don't put in brackets any accompanying family. So, if you have family that is coming with you, that's the way they write it. So, it's a generic refusal. Then, number two, you don't have any significant family ties outside of Canada. If you guys know, this is not true because all my family members are based in Nigeria. Then it says the purpose of your visit, to Canada is not consistent with a temporary stay given the details you have provided in your application. So that was the refusal letter. And guys, when I got my GCMS note, it did not even go into full details why I was refused in the first place. And this note just highlighted that the visa officer did not still go through my application. So in my GCMS notes, it says that I have considered the following factors in my decision. Number one, the applicant is funded by self and father. Guys, this is not true. This was not true and it's not true because I mentioned that I had a scholarship from the school and my dad gave me some money to support my scholarship. I was funded by the school, I was funded by my supervisor, and I was funded by my dad. So where did the funded by self come out from? Just to highlight to you guys that the visa officer did not do his or her job properly. Then he said bank statement starts with a low initial balance and close with a low initial balance. So I don't know if he was talking about my bank statement, but this was not also true because if he or she had seen my bank statement, which I put, and then I also added this my bank statement also in my application for my proof of funds. Yes, I'm also going to be showing you guys my proof of funds, what I had in my proof of funds. So if he or she had gone through that, they will know that I did not have a low balance to start with and I didn't have a low balance to end with, which is not true. This part was very funny, guys. While tuition is covered by program funding, the sources of these funds are poorly documented. Now, he or she is referring to my admission letter. How better can I reform the admission letter that was given directly from the school? It doesn't make sense. So, furthermore, the financial information provides lack support from current reported revenue or evidence of income tax payment. So, he was raising concern, he or she was raising concern about my dad's um, accounts or bank, saying that there was no bank statement provided for my dad. Now, this is very, let me explain this. So, if your parents or maybe any of your family members are sponsoring you, they are supposed to send the money into your own account and you will show your own bank statement that okay, this person is the one sponsoring me, but the money is now in my account, and you show your bank statement. So the person that is sponsoring you does not need to show his or her bank statement because they are the ones sponsoring you and they have sent the money into your account. But now this person did not know that number one, the money my dad sent to me was now in my account because she didn't really go through my application. Number two, he or she did not also know that I did not put my dad's bank statement because the money had already been sent from my dad to me. So, guys, take note of this in case you know anyone in this type of situation. So, the best thing that anybody can do in this type of situation, if they don't have like a visa like me to come to Canada, is that they should reapply for reconsideration and let it be stated. In fact, if that's the first or one or two things that you put in your application, let them know that this was not right on their part. If I had the time, I would have done that and reapplied from Nigeria if I did not have a Canadian visa. So I'm just telling you guys so you can learn from this. And without satisfactory documentation regarding the sources of these funds, I am unable to determine the applicant's financial preparedness for their intended international study in Canada. The applicant does not have significant family ties outside Canada. I'm like, what do you mean? And he didn't even buttress it, he just wrote it verbatim like that. So, what do you mean I don't have significant family ties? Is it that my family members are not located in Nigeria? Are they outside the country in another place that I did not mention? Note, guys, that the way I mentioned that my family is based in Nigeria, what they do, how I plan to assist them or help them when I'm done with my master's, that was the same way I mentioned it right now in the SOP I read to you. So, you'll be like, what is the visa officer talking about? Then, um, on balance, I'm not satisfied that the applicants meet the criteria of students who will depart Canada by the end of the authorized period of their stay. And weighing the factors in this application, I'm not satisfied that the applicants will depart Canada at the end of the period authorized for their stay. For these reasons above, I've refused the application. So guys, that was everything about my previous refusal and the GCMS notes. I just read my GCMS note and my GCMS note took notes almost took a month. And yes, I need to explain that I did not wait for my GCMS notes before I reapplied. And the reason why I didn't wait was personal reasons to me. So you can wait for your GCMS notes if you want. The reason why I didn't wait was because I knew what I submitted in my first application was thorough, very, very thorough. And I provided all the information necessary, but then the visa officer did not do his or her job thoroughly, which I do not blame them for, but then it impacts people's life. And if I was somebody that had given up on the whole situation that well, now they've refused me. What can I do? I need to defer my admission and everything. I won't be here today. So that's why it's also good that people do their job well and you also from your own and do your own job well. So I knew I did my own work well with my application and it was a do it yourself process. I didn't contact any agent, no agent assisted me with this. The long story short, guys, yeah, I reapplied again and I reapplied from inside Canada and it took 9 days. And I think in my next videos, I'll be showing you guys how I went to Flagpole for my study permit and Yeah, and then I will also be discussing like about how you too can apply for schools outside the country, either for a PhD or for a master's. And please do not forget to like, share, subscribe if you've enjoyed this video to this extent and you've watched to this extent. Please do not forget to subscribe. We are trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of this year, and we can do it, guys. Thank you also, guys, for 500 subscribers. Let's get it. See you in my next video. Bye.